Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Welcome back. Let's go and continue.
Thank you, Sadhguru. Now, the audience is very ecstatic about asking questions to you, and now we open the floor for the audience. First question, please.
Hello, I Sadhguru. I'm Dheeraj. So,
Right. The microphone, you must hold it like Lady Gaga, like this.
hello. So, my question is: we live in the times when artificial intelligence is poised to surpass human intelligence, and even people from the scientific community they stand divided on this front that whether it will be proven as a threat or just an enhancement. As you spoke, even Elon Musk is skeptical about that. So, what are your views upon it? Like, where do you stand?
Well, obviously, we should be skeptical because we don't know. We don't know if it's going to be for good or bad. If it does have any kind of intelligence, if it's able to think on its own, we don't know for sure. My thoughts on artificial intelligence, it's going to be exactly like us. This is kind of a hot take for I know a lot of people who watch my channel, but I genuinely do believe if you have a robot that has genuinely true AI or is able to learn and think on its own, and us, we're no different. That includes our true selves. The reason why I say this is just because if you well, it depends on your belief system, of course, in terms of Advaita Vedanta. So everything is Brahman is. There is nothing separate from it. So everything in the universe, mind you, do understand how I'm trying to phrase the statement here. Everything in the universe is Brahman. Brahman is. So therefore, we as products of this universe, much like the robot that we build, are similar. Our bodies, our mind come from the universe. The robot comes from the universe. Consciousness doesn't come from us. It's the body or the mind or the intellect. So consciousness is this thing that everything has. It's just a matter whether it can be used or not. I believe this part. More of my opinion. So, for example, we are conscious being because we have the capacity in our brain to be aware. So animals are aware, I do believe. Sadhguru, Acharya Prashant, Swami Sarvapyananda, they not really spoken too much on animals. I'm not exactly sure how Atman Brahman works with animals itself. I assume it still illuminates awareness for them too. It's just because their brain capacity is very limited, so all it can do is illuminate, make the animal aware, but the animal will act upon its instinctual nature or whatever its brain capacity is capable of. Much like us, when we were young humans, we are animals. We were very much animals, and we still had that same Atma Brahman in us. We were aware as well. The only thing that happened between us and the animals is that our brain developed more significantly than anything else. So it's the intelligence part for us that developed. It's kind of like computers. We can make a computer very, very smart. We can download a whole bunch of information or upload a whole bunch of information to a computer, and its learning capabilities are astronomical, I'm sure. So this whole point is to say that my argument is for that robots and humans are alike in a lot of ways. It needs I mean, outside of just the materialistic things. Again, um, only my only argument is because everything is consciousness or consciousness is. So therefore, the only like again, rock is consciousness. Rock just can't take advantage of any of it. Rock is fully aware. I think. Again, said all the Swamis and Gurus that I watch don't really talk about animals. It talks about more about you and your true self. But this you and true self is not you but it is you. um, this pervasive consciousness in terms of Advaita Vedanta is only one, and it pervades all of us and all things, including robots, which then at the same time, therefore, must have consciousness as well. That's my argument, really. You can please do make counter arguments for sure. I've heard some, but it's still not quite a good argument in return. Just because if it has consciousness, if it's made out of consciousness like us, and it has an intelligence that can take advantage of it, obviously of being aware of itself, because it has consciousness like animals, like we are animals. Um, I do believe we're in a sense interchangeable. I think I way talked too much about this. Let's continue.
See, do you remember when they installed lifting cranes and gantries in the ports of Bengal? The trade unions all protested, they're going to take away our jobs. Do you remember those times? That was a time where thousands of men would carry sacks out of a ship. One ship unloading means 15 days, 25 days like this. Though at that time the ships were much smaller, sacks, one man carrying one sack and all kinds of problems with it. Today, I was recently visiting one of the largest ports in the world in India. You must find out which one it is. And they told me, right there, they were unloading this vessel. It is at 225,000 tons. I asked, how long does it take to unload? They said, we have the record in the world that we unload a ship like this within 24 to 26 hours. Because the cranes and the gantries are such, they will lift that kind of weights and just put it out, everything is in a container, it's just coming out. But when these containers and these cranes came, the labor unions across the country protested because our jobs are going to be taken. I'm sure now they're all happy, they don't have to carry those bags. Similarly, if artificial intelligence comes, I'll tell you my experience of artificial intelligence. I was probably 12, 13 years of age, 13 I think. It's not like you people, all of you have smartphones and stuff, those days. Somebody shows me a flatbed calculator. Those days, only two companies making these calculators, at least in India, what was available, Sony and Panasonic. For this also to get it, you need Haji Mastan. He has to smuggle it in, otherwise you won't get it. By normal means you can't get it. So, Sony was very expensive, 125 rupees. Panasonic, if you went and bargained in that so-called Hong Kong bazaar or Burma bazaar or whatever, you would get it for 90 rupees. So you buy this calculator and somebody brought it, first time I am seeing. They do tuk 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 into tuk 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 tuk, tuk. I said, what? Why the hell are they torturing me in the mathematics classes? When this stupid machine, 90-rupee machine can do this, why are they torturing me for 10, 12 years, teaching me how to add, how to multiply? So that day I sat and dreamt, if there was another machine like this for science, for chemistry, for physics, for everything, I don't have to come to school. That was my dream. It's going to come true shortly. See, it helps. It did not come true when I was going to school, but it's going to come true very shortly. Don't you find this Google lady, though you're in IIT, this Google lady seems to know more than you any given day? Hello? So it will come, what you're going to learn in 25 years of education is in this much gadget. Today there are phones with 600 GB of memory. You're not a match for that, isn't it? So this is the problem with our education systems. This is a terrible European influence on us, that we have been made to believe, most human beings are believing that memory is intelligence. Memory is not intelligence. Memory is just information. If you misunderstand information as intelligence, then whole generations have paid a price for this, except a few human beings who spoke in a big way in every generation till now. Rest are all a big drag. I'm telling you, in every human being, there is a genius. The question is, they must find the right habitat, right atmosphere for that genius to blossom. But right now, if you go on imposing loads and loads of memory on their heads, their genius will never spark because they misunderstand memory as intelligence. Because if you have some information that the guy next to you doesn't have, and you just speak it out, he thinks he's a fool and you think you're smart. This is the difference between a city boy and a village boy, you know. A city boy is looking smart not because he's more intelligent, simply because he has more information in his head. So these people who have been faking intelligence for a long time, they are all going to become redundant once artificial intelligence comes, because a stupid little machine is going to have more memory than you can ever imagine possible, all right? These are good times, because what you remember in your mind will not decide who you are in the society.
I think the guy with the button-up shirt that's close to Sadhguru, I think he looks like it's good times goes. I mean, I get what he's trying to say. Essentially, a lot of redundant things are going to be done by AI, essentially.
How much of a human being are you is going to determine who you are. I think fantastic times. I think fantastic times for humanity is just about coming. I'm asking you, suppose you were working in one of the ports in Bengal and you were carrying those bags, heavy bags, back-breaking loads, and after 100 years you came back and saw all these loads are just being lifted and put on the truck just like that in 2 minutes, what you carried entire day. Would you not be fascinated and fantastic? That's how you will feel if after the artificial intelligence has come, you come and you realize you don't have to go to school. You don't have to gather all this nonsense. All these idiots who read 2 books and acting very smart in the world, they will all go. You have to exercise your intelligence, otherwise you will not survive. It's great time.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Real quick, don't get me wrong. I think I definitely advocate for school. Just because there are some, don't get me wrong, you have to know some basic things to function. Let me rephrase that. You have to know some basic things to understand, I guess is probably the better word for it. You know, you don't want to go in there, it's like, oh, so how much is this? It's like, oh, it's $4. I'm like, okay. And how much is that one? Oh, that's $4? Okay. 4 plus 4, $8. $2 plus 25 cents plus $8 plus 16 cents. You know, you're not want to have to use a calculator to calculate how much 4 plus 4 is. And don't get me wrong, he's right in terms of intelligence and memory are not the same thing. And hopefully we understand that. That's honestly, whenever he said that, I was like, it's like, you know what, he's right. All memory is memory. But I guess it is part of an intelligence, maybe not quite. I think what Sadhguru is talking about in terms of intelligence, but in terms of the Western world or education, we consider it some part of intelligence. It's just memory, and memory it can be hard. It's not easy to remember stuff. You know, I don't remember most of my geometry things. Anyways, but yeah, you want to understand the basic things. You don't want to depend on AI for a lot of things. There are like the reason why we look stuff up is because it's quite difficult or things that we've not learned. Um, so you don't you don't want to be sitting behind this person like, oh my gosh, dude, that's like you got $50 right there. That's $8. You're gonna get $42 back. Oh yeah, that tax to that. So that's a whole nother thing. Screw tax. Nah, just joking. But yeah, you want to be able to calculate things quickly. You don't want the very basic stuff you should learn. And it's nothing wrong with, going to school for things. Some people love going to school. Some people love classes. Some people love subjects. So, I think school should still be mandatory. I think it should be basic writing, basic math, add, subtract, multiply, divide at the very least. You don't have to do logarithmic or freaking square roots or exponents, or cosine, and all that other jazz. Jeez. Learn basic history so that we don't forget about our history, and so that we don't let any kind of negative history repeat itself. If we don't learn our history, we have a tendency to repeat history. So that's very important. Even though it's memory, still I think it's very important. I think a lot of us would agree that there are certain things that you should learn. It doesn't have to be the high advanced level stuff, but certain basic things.
Yes, sir. I have a personal question, sir. My
Ooh,
name is Abhay,
personal.
sir. Sir, I want to ask. There is some event that happens to me frequently. Whenever I go to somewhere, just like department. If I go to department, and it happens to me frequently. Whenever I return, I if I meet some person while going, I meet the same person while coming. It is a random time.
You must be going into the restroom.
But it happens very random. Even if I go in the random time, I meet the same person on the same path, sir. I don't know why this happens to me. From my childhood, I have been observing this. I don't know why. What is the answer of this? Why this happens to me?
What? Either you cannot distinguish one person for another, and you think a lot of people look alike, or you're superimposing someone else's face on other people. I have no idea. It was kind of hard to understand what he was trying to say in the very beginning, but I guess what he's trying to say is that he always runs into the same person a lot.
No, when I said restroom, I was not trying to say some bad place. This happened. It once happened, Shankaran Pillai got a job in Pentagon, Pentagon? Where it is decided which country should live and which country should be destroyed and everything, big things. So, he sat in his appointed office for a few days, then he moved his table and chair to the corridor and went to all the penta corners. After much moving around, as he was moving around, the entire Pentagon staff became suspicious. Is this some kind of a agent or somebody? Why is he moving his table and chair all over the place? His computer, his table and chair is moving all over the place. And then he settled down in the men's room. And they thought, this is really something, because this is one place everybody goes. So he's really up to something. They watched him, they checked his background, they checked his emails, they checked everything. They didn't find nothing wrong. Then they told the Pentagon psychiatrist, just look up this guy. Either he is a super spy or he's crazy. He must be something, just find out. Then the psychiatrist just walked into the men's room as if he has to use it and pretended to pee. Then casually struck up a conversation and he asked, why are you sitting in the men's room? Table, chair, computer, everything, why are you sitting here? He said, I moved all over Pentagon, but this is the only place where people seem to know what they're doing. So, Maybe your department…
Today, not knowing that you were coming, when I was going to department, I met one friend. But while returning from department, I met the same friend, not on the same regular time. I lived at a random time, and he met me and told me that Sadhguru is coming. So this happened to me from very frequently.
See, if you're in a specific department, you usually tend to meet the same people. You must change the department and see you'll see… you'll meet different people. I understand what the confusion is about. You seem to encounter the same people a bit too often. That will completely change when you leave the IIT and go out. All right? Before that, it is like this. I will tell you, I have been… these days I'm not doing early on, my father is an ophthalmologist, okay? So, he was giving glasses to so many people and various kinds of things. So I discovered a simple method. There was one guy in UK whose name was Bates. So he has a Bates method of improving vision. I saw this and I saw he had some sense and he had figured out a few things, but there were many things he had not figured out. I developed that into a different level. I took off spectacles for thousands of people who had vision defects. Today they are all living, thousands and thousands of people who don't have glasses anymore. That includes my daughter. She's still living without glasses. Early on, when she was 7 years of age, they prescribed glasses. My father, being an ophthalmologist, believes 100%. Once you have short sight or long sight, there is no way that you can take it away. This is the medical conclusion. But I can show you thousands of people who don't have glasses right now because they did certain things with themselves. In all this, I will just explain one thing. See, right now there's a crowd of people. You simply just look like this. You will see the faces that you know, somebody that you know, that face looks very clear. Rest of them are just a blur. That out of the world, and we would like to see her, right? Because your vision is seriously aided by your memory.
Real quick on this one too. This is kind of pretty true. There's a card trick that Penn and Teller does, and they do what's called a force. They force a card essentially. So they grab a card and they just kind of peel it back like long ways, and they peel it back and it flips through the cards like really quickly. But what they'll do is like half a second they'll stick to one and then continue on. So you kind of see that card very clearly. It's I guess it's not too similar, but it's essentially that things will catch your eyes. And when you catch your eyes, you'll be able to see it if it's not too fast. And it's kind of similar to what he's saying. When you just kind of look really quickly, there's going to be someone or something that will, generally speaking, will catch your eyes and it'll stand out fairly clearly compared to the rest, which will be a blur. But again, he's still going pretty quickly with the fold, although perhaps not too similar to the example that Sadhguru was here was talking about. But there'll be one that will kind of, not because you're familiar with it, because they do stop there for like half a second. So you are able to see it. And it's kind of like when you look left to right too, you generally speaking, your eyes can't, like, I don't know if your eyes can just move like that, or what it does is if your head moves, your eyes probably focus, your head focus, head, eyes focus, head moves, focus as the head moves. I don't think the head and the eyes can just kind of smooth over, so…
There are stories, we don't know to what extent because they were given to telling all kinds of stories. They say when the first ships from Europe went to North America, the tribes saw the people, but they could not see the ship. It took them some time to actually see the ship because there was no such form in their memory. You try this, Those of you who have vision defects, take off your glasses, take a book, and let's say you see one word and you say, okay, this is sun, 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 you build memory about it. And then you just look like this everywhere and look at it. You will see only that one word will come up to you, rest of the words are not so clear. So with faces also this is true. Once you have built memory about that, that face always stands out, the other faces don't show clearly. So it could be possible, 10 people pass by, you don't pay much attention, but the face that you know, immediately you recognize. Immediately you notice that face to be there.
Yeah. Uh-oh. Was he saying something? Okay. Anyways, yeah, that's fairly true. Like again, you could go through 7 weeks without any incident, but when something happens, like, oh my gosh, this happens to me all the time, and all of a sudden you realize, like, wait, the last time this happens to me was like 8 weeks ago. Or maybe it doesn't happen all the time. It's just that because you notice it so much more because of something that's irritating, and all the rest of the weeks that go by were just kind of like meh. You notice it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening all the time. So it tends to stand out, especially if it's something that you pay attention to, versus like the rest of the weeks, which is just meh.
Now this problem will be solved when you leave the institution.
People are very enthusiastic about asking questions, but
Sadhguru,
as
hello.
we are running out of time, we would be taking one last
Yeah.
question.
Thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to talk. So my question is, even if we are 100% sure about the internals, like even if I'm 100% exuberant, but still we cannot get the opportunities we want, and the luck factor is there in everybody's life. So is there somebody else, like other from the other dimensions or other than the physical, who's controlling it, or is just the does the life just happen like that?
Oh, sorry about that. Really weird question. I doubt anyone. I doubt a lot of people have 100% internal control. But like Sadhguru said, you can have 100% control over your life. You don't have a 100% control over anything external. Not other people, not other things. You can do the absolute best possible thing of whatever it is you're trying to do to get the job. That does not guarantee you the job. I don't think there's no external forces that's like, yes, work slightly harder. you know, go poo. But there's no external forces in my opinion. I don't believe there's like deities or anything out there that's like manipulating life or anything like that. You are 100% over your control over your body and your actions. You're not in control of anything else. You can make suggestions. You can tell people to do things, whether to do it or not. It's all up to them. Much like if someone were to tell you to do something or make a suggestion to you or give you good advice or terrible advice, it's up to you whether you follow them or not. Regardless of who gives it to you, whether it's a Guru, Acharya Prashant, Swami Sarvarpiyananda, Swami Tadamananda, or me. Yes, I am above like all of them. But yes, you have control of all the actions you do, regardless of what people say. Now, mind you, you can do things in your life to put you in better positions again, but nothing's guaranteed except death. And even in that, apparently, and you'll have rebirth. But you get what I'm trying to say.
Like the luck factor and the opportunities we get, we cannot control it.
What is the level of influence the stars have on you?
No. I'm not asking that. Like the opportunities.
No, luck means usually people look at the stars. You look up and see in this building, there are a few stars. There's a constellation, just see, look up.
To me, I don't like to look at this world luck. I get what some people are trying to say. I had this discussion with a friend of mine. I don't believe in luck either, actually. What all luck is kind of, in a lot of sense, coincidence. Basically, imagine if you go to the grocery store and all of a sudden you run into your teacher. She's like, "Oh, that's lucky," or run into someone that you haven't met in a long time that gave you a job. It's like because you wanted to go to the grocery store, it's the reason why you ran into that person. The reason why that person was there is because they want to go to the grocery store as well. It's not like it's coincidence. It's not like something's drawing people together or anything like that. I don't believe in that. Um, Sometimes you just get the urge to go like shopping. We get that happens so many like that happens a lot. I want to go out and just kind of walk around like Walmart and stuff. Just because it's a big store, it's just nice to look at things and then just go home. Dream of all the things you can't buy. Anyways, but yeah, you just go out and walk, and eventually you might run into something like, oh, this is weird coincidence. How you doing? All of a sudden they talk to you about getting a better job or whatever it may be. It's not like it's destined to be. You have control over your life.
So how much role do they have?
No, I'm not asking that. Like the opportunities we get are purely.
I get you, I get you.
So who controls them, and can we control them?
Clearly, he's not understanding Sadhguru. He's saying Sadhguru was playing along and saying the stars are controlling your favor. Which one of them? How much of each of one of those has a pull on you? I don't think Sadhguru is necessarily saying that precisely, but
See, if you have some mastery over your physical body, 15 to 20% of your life and destiny will be in your hands. Suppose a given situation, let's say a tiger walked into IIT Kharagpur. So, somebody who is physically in a certain good state, within a moment they will climb up the tree, sit there and enjoy the wildlife. Yes? Because they have a certain mastery over their body. Somebody who doesn't have that becomes the breakfast. Isn't it so? Life and death. Because you're physically in a certain condition, you have some mastery over the body. You could be living, others could be dead. Yes or no? In any given situation, it is true. Because you're physically good, maybe you'll catch the bus and somebody will miss the bus. And that missing the bus could be not just a actual physical thing, it could be metaphorical, that you miss the bus because you're not physically fit. So 15 to 20% of your life and destiny is determined depending on how much mastery you have over your body. If you just learn to sit right, breathe right, hold yourself right, believe me, so many things will happen your way. This is what yoga is about, that you make sure everything that you do with your body is by conscious will, not by accident, not by compulsive modes. You sit, eat, breathe in a conscious way. If you have mastery over your mental faculties, 60 to 70% of your life and destiny will happen your way. If you have mastery over your life energies, 100% of your life and destiny will happen your way. She's the boss, sir, here.
Program to you, first of all. I have gone through most of your YouTube recordings, but I found that most of the questions which you are answering of your inner experience, because of that inner experience answers become very beautiful. But when somebody tries to follow it, it becomes confusing. I'll give you an example. They have said about judging the perfect time.
I got it, I got the question. No, I understand the question. Do I look like somebody who cannot understand the question? You have to explain it to me. So,
I didn't understand the question, but okay.
there's an inner experience. Well, I'm glad you recognize that. It is the inner experience which makes life lucid. That is, everything is not a struggle. If you picked up bits and pieces from so many people around you, if another piece comes, which none of them gave, you'll be again confused eternally. So you will naturally structure your life in such a way that your life becomes a cocoon where only expected things come your way, unexpected things don't come your way. This is what most human beings are doing because unexpected things are seen as googlies which will get them out. So, they try to remain within the known. If you remain within the known, life becomes extremely limited and it's incapacitating in many ways. All the human potential is lost. So how to get an inner experience? which makes your activity and the way you exist a more lucid experience of life. Well, YouTube videos are there, that is only, for lack of vocabulary, I would say that is only titillation. That is only to instigate you to look that there's another way to live. There's another way to structure your life. There's another way to build yourself as a human being. You want to become an engineer, you want to become a doctor, you want to become something else, that's a different thing, that's activity. For that you have to learn something outside. But what kind of a human being you want to be, this has to be done from within, there's no other way. For this, there's an entire scientific process which we call as inner engineering, which we will not impart unless you come in a committed way. Because without commitment, these things do not happen. All we want from you is 28 to 30 hours of focused time. But most people think their life is not worthy enough that they can invest 28 hours of focused time. What can you do for such lives? Let them enjoy the YouTube. So people are saying, but there is a cost to it. Yes, because it's being physically delivered, there's a cost to it. We have come up with a plan, probably by, let us say, by sometime middle of 2019, we will be able to execute it where we can offer this without cost to people. We are looking at a plan like that. There are certain technological challenges, if you overcome that in the next 6 to 8 months, you will see inner engineering as a scientific process. Most of it, except the yogic part of it which needs to be initiated, except that, all of it will be available to everybody free of cost in about 16 different languages across the world.
Okay, interesting. Huh. I'm not exactly sure what his question is. I'm not gonna go back and repeat it, but it seems like there's a difference between inner and external about who you're supposed to be versus who you are. Apparently, there seems to be a confusion, like, you're gonna be a doctor or whatever, but that's one thing, but who you are is another thing. Hmm. I think I said a lot in this video. I don't have much else to say. Although he said it was a free engineering, so definitely gotta check that out. So anyways, that's it for this reaction. If you like my content, please consider subscribing. Thumbs up the sign down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.